Hi, everybody. Welcome to Holiday House. My name is Teresa Zorro. I'm with the Random House Group. And I hope I'm familiar with some of you because this is my favorite event. We've been doing this event for many years. And I know so many of you have joined us at the Penguin Random House offices. And now we're doing this virtually. And I can see there are so many people that are coming from all over the country. So this is really exciting because the wonderful bright spot of the pandemic is that we've been able to open up our events program to many readers from all over the country. So we're so thrilled to have us with you tonight. And I just really want to anchor the evening in gratitude. Our event series is about connection and it's about building community. And we are so grateful for the readers who have joined us on this long and sometimes bumpy journey into the virtual events world. And I just cannot thank you enough because you've joined us for big ideas nights and book clubs and ideas in action and events on food and lifestyle and meditation and politics. And I'm just so grateful that you've shown up, that you've helped us build these communities of readers. We are so grateful, and you've given us so much energy and so much passion behind all of our books. So thank you for joining us. I'm so thrilled that you're here. And I also want to give a very deep, heartfelt thank you to my team who has worked so tirelessly to put the events program together over the last particularly 9 months. And we've had to learn a lot and we've pivoted quickly, but I want to say thank you, especially to Katie Darcy, who has brought her enthusiasm and her passion for this program to every event, many times a week, working long hours. And I thank you so much, Katie. You really helped us bring so many more books to people all over the country and even all over the world. So thank you so much. I'm so excited for this event. I'm also thrilled to turn it over to Abbe Wright. She's going to MC the event for us tonight. And Abbe is a senior editor of Read It Forward, which is the Penguin Random House online book vertical. Wonderful opportunity to discover new books, classics and new books. She previously was a contributing editor of Glamour magazine, an editor at O magazine, and she's now part of the Penguin Random House group, and we're so thrilled that she's going to help MC the evening. So I'm going to turn it over to Abbe, and I just want to say huge thank you to everybody and enjoy the night.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I am so glad to be here emceeing Holiday House, and it has certainly been a year, am I right? How I wish we were all gathered in the same room right now, but I am taking comfort in the fact that you are all snug and cozy in your own homes, and so am I. In fact, beneath this glam look up top, I am definitely wearing sweatpants. So we have an exciting night for you tonight, and I know these next 2 evenings are going to get me in the holiday spirit, and hopefully you'll get inspired by our programming to cook a delicious meal, make a yummy cocktail, watch a holiday movie or 5, and of course, buy books for everyone on your list. They're very easy to wrap. So I want to just start off by saying a big, big special thank you to our partners. Thank you to Kendra Scott and Brooke Linen, Uncommon Goods, The Sill, Sips by, Fairy Tale Brownies, 1-800-Flowers, and of course, our presenting sponsor, Zenni. All night long, you'll see me wearing Blocks by Zenni. These glasses have blue light blocking lenses that are protecting my eyes from harmful blue light on what seems like my millionth hour on Zoom. So think of me tonight as your Oscars host, changing gowns during commercial breaks. You'll get to see lots of amazing frames from Zenni tonight. So to kick us off, I want to share a special video from our sponsor, Zenni.
Don't hold on to me.
It's all worth it.
Ladies, Chris.
I hear that's really bad for you.
What? No, this is about finding true love.
No, I mean the screen.
Oh, no, we're all good there. These Zenni lenses, they block the blue light.
I mean, that's still really bad for you.
This is amazing. Please go away.
Chelsea.
Oh, no, don't pick her. Oh.
Okay, so if Rashida Jones loves Zenni, then so do I. In fact, these lenses are definitely giving me some Queen's Gambit vibes. Anyone else? So let's talk about that virtual gift bag. You should receive your virtual gift bag, which included discount codes from our partners, featured recipes from some of our panelists, and links to purchase all the panelists' books. And of course, if you did not receive your virtual gift bag, please email pr@randomhouse.com. And part of tonight's ticket price includes one featured author's title of your choice. All books will be mailed out after Thursday evening's event. So get ready for that in your mailbox. And all night long, we will also be raffling off fun prizes. I have the best job ever because I get to pick these raffle winners. All raffle winners were selected prior to the event at random. So let's kick off the fun with our first raffle of the evening. I'm going to pull names from my little stocking here. So our first prize is our Kendra Scott Yasmin necklace in rose gold and sable mica. I love Kendra Scott jewelry, and we're so excited to be raffling off a piece that is perfect for the holiday season. It's a beautiful rose gold necklace. And for even more cheer, we're throwing in a copy of Act Like a Lady by the Lady Gang. So I'm gonna pull a name. And our winner tonight is Tracy Schlachter. Congratulations, Tracy. Yay! We are so excited to dive into tonight's programming with a discussion between our Penguin Random House CEO and Crown Editor-in-Chief about some of their favorite books of 2020. Madeline and Gillian are two of publishing's most in-the-know readers, and we can't wait to hear their takes on 2020's best books and which titles they recommend for holiday gifting. Madeline McIntosh was appointed CEO of Penguin Random House US in April 2018. In her 27 years in the industry, she has worked in editorial, publicity, sales, online, digital, audio, and operations. She lives in New York with her husband, twin sons, and Labradoodle. Gillian Blake is SVP Editor-in-Chief at Crown. She has edited many bestsellers, including Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights, Elizabeth Kolbert's Pulitzer Prize-winning The Sixth Extinction, Rob Lowe's Stories I Only Tell My Friends, Elton John's Me, and multiple books by Russell Brand and Andy Cohen. It's quite a lineup. Her upcoming projects at Crown include memoirs by singer-songwriter Brandi Carlile and artist Ai Weiwei, as well as new books by Elizabeth Kolbert, Susan Cain, and AJ Jacobs. Over the course of her career, she has worked with Barry Weiss, Sheila Heti, Jaron Lanier, Anthony Doerr, Kate Walbert, Peggy Orenstein, Harold Bloom, George Howe Colt, and Adrienne Nicole LeBlanc. I'm introducing Gillian and Madeline.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. I'm feeling quite wistful. I'm thinking back to a year ago. I was there in the auditorium in the New School in conversation with Abbe, and I think many of you were there then. And so I'm missing being see a person, but at least we all, including me, get to be wearing our slippers. So I am very happy about that part of the pandemic. And I am guessing that what we all have in common is we very much are looking forward to the break that we deserve that is coming up, hopefully for everybody here at the end of the month. A little time off of work and from a little time off from the regular routine. At the same time, I am guessing that we're all trying to think about, well, how are we going to fill yet more hours at home? So I think that what Jillian and I would recommend and suggest is fill those hours with books. So what I am going to kick us off with here is pointing out that when Jillian and I compared notes about our favorite books that we published this year, we had the same two top books. And the first one may not really surprise anybody because that is A Promised Land by President Barack Obama. And I can just speak to it as a reader. You would think for that when you're reading a book by somebody who I think we all feel like we know him so well, and we certainly lived through the experiences that he's writing about, at least as citizens. So it should feel like pretty familiar territory. And yet I just found it so surprising. It's because of the quality of his writing. He's an extraordinary storyteller, and he had me on every page. But Jillian, you had I think you can speak a little bit more to having been part of the whole team that was actually bringing this to market. So you had a very, very different experience too.
Well, I have to say, I feel so lucky. I mean, like, let's be honest, this has been a really, really hard year. And I'm looking back on it and I think how lucky I was. I was getting to read as being part of the team that was publishing the book. I was getting to read bits of it as it was coming in. And it started at the end of last year, and then we started to get chapters and chapters, and it was just at a very difficult time with all of these, myriad crises we were dealing with, to get a book that presents, the challenges and the kind of glory of being president in such a personal and humane and intelligent way. I really feel like it helped, like it gave me hope at times where things felt like pretty hopeless. And I agree with you. He's just such a phenomenal writer. I love Dreams from My Father. I just think it's just an extraordinary book, and I'm so glad it's out there now. It just feels like at this moment, and I go into stores and I see it there, and I feel proud and excited. And the one other thing I want to say is he opens the book with really a kind of the end of his preface is about like reaching out to this next generation, and he says that it is, he's sort of passing on the sense of hope and the sense of responsibility, and he says that it's an invitation to once again remake the world, and it's just so inspiring.
Yeah.
So get it
Yeah.
for everybody.
Exactly. Now that pick might not surprise people. I think they might be surprised that our very next pick, which was right neck and neck there with the president, was Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And I want to say that I came to the experience of this book first, all the way back when we used to go to offices, and I was working desk, and I heard I knew there was a meeting in the office next door, but I didn't know what or who was in there. And then I heard this voice saying, "All right, all right, all right." I was like, "What?" And I got up and went to see what was going on next door. And there was Gillian and another colleague of ours, David, meeting with Mr. McConaughey himself. So, Gillian, can you tell us a bit about the experience of the book?
Madeline, you saw it coming together. I mean, it's an amazing. So, okay, you heard my bio. I've worked with some celebrities, and I'm just going to go back to the first time we got a proposal from McConaughey, and it was it was a lot of wisdom and one-liners and sort of McConaugheyisms, and we loved it. But we didn't know exactly what shape the book would take. And we went into the first meeting, and when you meet these people, I don't know, I mean, do you want to say you're a huge fan, or do you want to be a little bit indifferent and just say, I'm an editor and I want to judge the literary quality of what you want to do? Well, I just decided, like, I'm going to tell him, like, Dazed and Confused is my favorite movie of all time. So I went into this meeting, and so I said, I said, he has so many classic lines in that movie. It's all right, all right, all right. It's just keep living, which, by the way, is a very good line for this year. And the one about high school girls, but I won't do that whole line, but it's a good one. Anyway, so I asked him about it, and he just went off. He told the best story about that movie shoot. I mean, his dad died, like when he was shooting his very first movie. It's an amazing story. And so the process of the book coming together is what Madeline witnessed, because he wrote every word of it himself, but he came into the office a few times. There was lots of talk when he was around, but we would say, so, tell me a little bit more about your mom. And he would just, oh yeah, I got a good story for you. And he'd stand up. I have some video of him in the office right next to yours telling these stories. Anyway, they all made it into the book. There is the wisdom, there are the one-liners, but there are so many good stories. The audio is great. The print book is great because he was so invested in the design of the book. This was a labor of love for him. So it's down to the font, it's down to the color green. In green lights, he chose everything. So but the audio is special.
Audio, yeah. I mean, the book itself is absolutely stunning, but I'm certainly one of the people who I was always a fan of audiobooks, but I have particularly come to appreciate audiobooks during this COVID year. And it's a one-man theater show. I mean, he is so great at it. So definitely do yourself a favor if you are going to be in the car, or you're in the kitchen, or it's just the middle of the night, you can't sleep. This is the audiobook for you. Okay, Gillian, what's your next pick?
So I have another book by someone who's been in the news this year, Governor Andrew Cuomo. I want to say to you that I don't know, I know that they're not all New Yorkers here, but if you have a New Yorker on your list, or it's not even, because I think it was really national, it was must-see TV. If you have somebody who you have to buy a present for, who watched Governor Cuomo every single day. At what time was it? Like 11:45, I can't remember, but every single day. So many of my friends, we all watched it because it got us through those first days. And this is an account of those 111 days. And the challenges, the intensity, but also if this person on your list also might have developed a little bit of a crush on him. It's got all the personal stuff, the mom, the daughters, the boyfriend, the dog. And I will say I got to go to the governor's mansion a couple times, and I met a daughter, adorable. I met the dog, also adorable. I did not meet the boyfriend. The boyfriend had vacated the premises by the time I was there. Yes. And what's next on your list, Madeline?
Well, my next set of picks all go together, because the other thing that I think is the common theme that got us all through this year is food, or at least that's what got me through. And as much as we may love food and we're getting comfort from food, the sameness of cooking and eating every single meal at home is certainly something that people have complained about. And so if you are looking for some inspiration, then I have a couple of suggestions. So the first one is Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast by the perfectly named Ken Forkish. And I was one of the people, I'm like a cartoon. I'm one of the people who started sourdough bread baking during the pandemic. And I had not done it before, but this book became my Bible. He is the master at it. And you really only need this book, and that's it. So my family was very happy about the results, and I really recommend it. Another master is Yotam Ottolenghi, and he has done numerous books, and they're all
They're so beautiful. I love all of them.
They're so beautiful, and this one I think might be the most beautiful. And the other reason that I would particularly come to this one now, it's called Flavor, is that that it is centered on vegetables. And having consumed a lot of bread and focused on a lot of meat, I am going to concentrate this winter on perhaps filling out the other part of my plate a little bit more completely.
Well, I'm a
And
vegetarian and I love all the books.
well, there you go.
It's
And
amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
the sweet and sour Brussels sprouts with chestnuts and grapes. It's incredibly easy, it's so good, and it's beautiful. So if you're looking for something to feel festive at the holiday, that's what I would recommend. Next one up, my favorite course, even, once I've eaten my vegetables, my favorite course is dessert, and I love baking. So I was really excited to know that we were going to publish Dessert Person by Claire Saffitz. And you may know her from her Bon Appetit career, but this is, I believe, her first cookbook. And what I love about it is that, I love many things, but one of the things that she does is to rate the recipes from easy to hard and from quick to not so quick. And so it really helps you adapt to, there are the times where you're just looking for something quick to either maybe make your teenage sons happy or to just have a little treat for everybody. Then there are other times where it's a long weekend day and you want a project. And she can fit either one of those needs. So I really love that one. And then finally, there is the master of all masters, Ina Garten, with her latest modern comfort food. And Gillian, I know you're a fan.
I mean, first of all, the perfect book for this time, right? Yeah. So like you can cook from it, but also like I kind of would read it going to sleep at night because it would kind of calm me down. Speaking of Brussels sprouts pizza. I mean, there are and delicious cocktails. And I don't know if anyone's ever had that. I have not tried this. I've made the banana pudding from Magnolia Bakery. I've attempted the original version, but she has one with rum in it, and I'm dying to try it.
Yum.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what else? What else is on your list?
So speaking of food, there's an amazing food memoir, I think one of the best in a long time, called Eat a Peach by David Chang of Momofuku. And I mean, it's interesting that he was a friend of Anthony Bourdain's because to me, it has the kind of raw authenticity that Kitchen Confidential had. And to read it actually at this moment where the restaurant industry is going through such a crisis, you kind of realize it's always a crisis. I mean, he has been spectacularly successful. He's on the Food Network. He has this chain of restaurants. He started with a ramen noodle bar in the East Village, right? And he becomes a superstar, and it's always about to fall apart. Like it's so high risk. There's so much luck involved, and these are all like small business owners, like individual entrepreneurs trying to make it. And he also struggles with mental illness, and he's really honest about that. It is a wild ride, a great read, whether you're a food lover or not. But if you do love to, if you love to cook, but if you also just go out to restaurants a lot, it gives such a sort of incredible insight into what that life is and the kind of personality necessary you have to be able to succeed.
Great. I have my just two left, my last two picks. One is a novel. These are both in the theme of looking for escape. And I think we could all use a little escape. And my very favorite way to escape is into a great novel. And Mexican Gothic is that. This book gets you in absolutely from page one and does not let you get off, close the book until you get to the end. And it is a glamorous and spooky story that takes place in mid-20th century Mexico. And sort of a ghost story, but it's not actually scary. It's just riveting. So I really recommend that one as a novel. And then on the nonfiction side, one thing that I kept dreaming of doing this year was to escape to the national parks. And we kept kind of thinking maybe there's a way we can do it. And then just every possible thought kind of fell apart. So we didn't go anywhere. But this Leave Only Footprints is a story of a memoir of basically a year spent going from all the national parks in the whole country. So that's what I've always wanted to do. This guy did it. And it's a perfect way to kind of picture the escapes we might have when life returns a little bit to normal.
I
And
love that
how
too.
would you wrap it up? What are your last picks?
Well, I have one that's a little bit of an escape, but also feels pretty relevant, and that is The Splendid and the Vile by Eric Larson. And I would imagine there's some Eric Larson fans out there. He's written some incredible books, including The Garden of Beasts and Dead Wake. But Crown published this book right before the pandemic. Eric was on tour. And it's a book about Churchill and London during the Blitz. And we kind of knew as we'd read the manuscript and loved it, that it felt that it was sort of relevant in this kind of like leadership lessons. And Churchill is just, I don't know, you can kind of go back a million times. But actually, when the pandemic hit, it became even more relevant because you're looking at like London during the Blitz and, what Churchill does. And then you're in this weird moment in our lives. And so it's relevant, but it's also escapism because of the way Eric Larson writes. He's such a great storyteller, and it's all drawn from these personal diaries and journals, and it's about the family life and the country house and the parties they still had. So I really recommended it to a lot of people in those early March, April, May days. And I have to say, like, every person I recommended it to got in touch with me when they were done, and they said the exact same thing. And that was, I didn't want it to end. And I think it's that kind of escapism you're talking about, this need to get, so it felt vital and it felt important, but you were in a different time, in a different place. And he's really a terrific writer. So highly recommend that one. And then the last one is also, Crown's a nonfiction imprint, and I'm talking about a lot of Crown books tonight because, this is the life I live. But this is a book called Begin Again by Eddie Glaude. And you might have seen Eddie on MSNBC. He's a fabulous commentator. He's also a professor at Princeton. And this is a book that just felt so important this year and spent several weeks on the bestseller list. It's about Eddie is looking at the work of James Baldwin, his writings, particularly right at the end of the Civil Rights Movement, and him grappling with like what had been accomplished and what had not been accomplished. And it came out right into all of the Black Lives Matter protests. And it's just such a very thought-provoking way to look at race relations in this country, both then and now. And also like send you back to the work of the books of James Baldwin. So it's an accessible way to get in, and then you want to read more. And, I just feel like it's a really important book for our time.
Good. And that feels like a good one to end on. And I think and I hope we've given everybody some inspiration, some ideas, either gifts for others or gifts for yourself. Certainly, I think a good way to get through the winter. So that's a wrap. Thank you very much for having us. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
That was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much to Gillian and to Madeline for that amazing reading list. So we are headed to our next raffle, but before we do that, check out my second pair of Zenni blocks. I am really digging these chic, thick, bright blue frames, and I hope you are too. So our next prize is a book bundle of Madeline and Gillian's best books of 2020, which you just heard them describe, along with a holiday cheer pack from Fairy Tale Brownies. What better thing to accompany adding to that TBR pile than some decadent brownies? So we are thrilled to be raffling off all of the featured titles just mentioned in the last session, and we are giving away 24 holiday brownies from Fairy Tale Brownies. So I'll get my handy dandy stocking here. Congratulations, Carol Yanch. And you just have to share your brownies with me. Okay, this time of year has become synonymous with holiday movies. What is more entertaining than curling up with something warm to drink and binging the latest that Hallmark, Netflix, or Hulu has to offer? Pop culture expert R. Eric Thomas is here to put your holiday movie knowledge to the test with a little trivia. R. Eric Thomas is a senior staff writer at Elle.com, where he has written the daily pop culture and politics humor column, Eric Reads the News, since 2016. His writing for the theater has been seen on stages around the country. He won the Barrymore Award and the Dramatists Guild Lanford Wilson Award, and was a finalist for the Steinberg American Theater Critics Association New Play Award. Off the page, he is the long-running host of the Moth Story Slams in Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. He lives in Baltimore with his extraordinary husband, the Reverend David Norris Thomas, and an out-of-control collection of succulents, candles, and tote bags. Here for it is his first book. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you. It's so good to see you again. Hello. Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy December. I'm very excited to be here. I'm going to be hosting a little holiday movie trivia. Originally, I was going to bake a 7-layer cake, and they said, no, that is not something that you are good at. And I was like, okay, but it's the miracle of the holidays. You never know. So instead, we're going to go through some classic holiday movies and ask trivia questions about them. We got together for Thanksgiving, my family and I, over Zoom this year. All of us were separate. And when we got on the Zoom, my mother was like, grab a paper and pen. I have a quiz. And I was like, I don't think this is what I signed up for. But she wanted to make a memory. And even though we were all separate, the quiz was quite interesting. And I did not answer correctly for most questions, but I did win because we were scoring ourselves. And I'm not a man of honor. So, and in that spirit, I invite you to participate in whatever way you like. The questions will be up on the screen, and there'll be time for you to yell the answers out in the comfort of your own home or whisper them in your heart. You also received a Google Doc that has all the spaces for all the questions and answers that you can fill in as well. And that document will also go right back to you. So it is up to you how you want to play this game. Please don't put the answers in the chat. If you want to chat, feel free. We can talk and hang out, but don't put the answers in the chat just in case anybody wants to take this very seriously as the SATs of holiday movie trivia. So as the screen says, some of these questions are fact, some are opinion. Which is which? That's for me to decide. Let's go. So these are all about holiday movies. And the first holiday movie that I decided to put up is Die Hard. You may ask, is this a holiday movie? And I will say, yes, because it's in my holiday movie trivia. So next question. So let's go. So the question number one. In the Christmas classic, see, it says it right there. It says it's a Christmas classic. Yes, I wrote that, but it's in print, and everything in print is true. In the Christmas classic, Die Hard, what is the name of the building where John McClane's wife, Holly Gennaro McClane, works? I'll give you a second to think about that one. I love Die Hard so much. I like to watch it every year, and it has really become sort of a holiday tradition for me, even though it did not come out at Christmas, but it is set at Christmas time. All right, last call for the answer. I'm gonna show you the answer now. It is Nakatomi Plaza. Nakatomi Plaza, a fake plaza in a real building. You know what that is? Movie magic. Question number two. John McClane is aided in his quest to thwart the evil plans of Hans Gruber by a police officer played by Reginald Vell Johnson. On which television show did Reginald Vell Johnson most famously play another police officer? Whenever I design trivia, I'm going to let you think about this for a second, and then we'll show the answer. Whenever I design trivia, I always ask myself, are these things that people know, or are these things that I know? And I don't actually solicit the answers to those questions. I just ask myself in my heart. So the answer to question number 2 is Family Matters. Family Matters. As I wrote in my book, Here for It, or How to Save Your Soul in America, one of the worst things to happen to me at the age of 13, a little bit younger actually, was the advent of Family Matters. It was a good show, but you may know it by its more colloquial name, Urkel. People, everybody was obsessed with Steve Urkel, the nerdy, clumsy neighbor. And as soon as the show came on the television, all my classmates at school were like, oh, we get it, you're Urkel. And I was like, no, I'm R. Thomas, future Penguin Random House author. And they were like, no, you're Urkel. And that stuck with me for a very long time. So Jaleel White, who played Urkel, we are in a feud. Is he here tonight? Let's see. Well, we'll bring him up later. All right, question number 3. This is a bonus question. Sorry, this is not number 3. This is a bonus. So Family Matters was a spin-off of another sitcom. What sitcom was that? I'm just going to give you a couple seconds to think about it. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. And the answer is Perfect Strangers. That's a good one. Yeah. So I love the idea of sitcom spin-offs when a character shows up on one show and then they're like, we love you. Get on another show. Have some more money. That's my favorite thing. I look forward to that happening in my life as well, even though I am not a sitcom actor. Question number 3. This is I don't know. I wrote these long questions. I'm truly deranged. Oh, that's right. Somebody in the comments pointed out that Perfect Strangers was a spinoff of Mork and Mindy. So it's all connected. I feel like I've got my tinfoil hat on. I'm like, wait a minute. Every sitcom is related. So we'll get to the bottom of that. But first, question number 3. So Bruce Willis has said that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but let's look at the facts. It's about a Scrooge-like man trying to make things right with his family, okay, on Christmas Eve. The bad guys are Grinches who want to steal things. The hero gets stuck in a chimney like Santa Claus, and John McClane walks around barefoot. You know who else was barefoot? Probably the baby Jesus when he was born. So, all of that being weighed as evidence, is Die Hard a holiday movie? And we'll just go right to the next answer. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. So give yourself a point for that one. We're going to move on to our next our next question. Which is the bigger obstacle narratively? We're all book people, so let's think about narrative here. Which is the bigger obstacle narratively for John McClane? A, there are thieves taking over his wife's building, or B, that he has regressive ideas about gender parity, which keep him from being fully supportive of his wife's career ambitions. Just something to think about. John McClane didn't really like that his wife had a job. That said, if he had been cool with it, he might not have even been in the building at all. And then who would have saved them? I don't know. Me, I guess. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to walk around barefoot on glass. So So the answer, I think, it's probably A. You know, when thieves take over a building, it is more pressing than problematic ideas. But he should work on both. Let's move on to our next holiday film, Love Actually, my nemesis. All right, let's go to question number one. The most heartbreaking part of Love Actually is when Emma Thompson listens to Blue by Joni Mitchell. Is it Blue? Yeah, the album Blue, both sides now. But the second most heartbreaking part of River, yeah, somebody said River. I was like, I should look this up. And I was like, I know this. I've watched this movie 9 million times, but I did not. So it's but the second most heartbreaking part is when Laura Linney can't hook up with her hot coworker. That is truly a tragedy. Who played the coworker? Think about that for a second. This will haunt me to my dying day. Laura Linney is in this tough space. You know, she has a brother who needs her. But the point of the holidays is if you have someone hot in your life who wants to hook up after a holiday party and you want to hook up with them as well, that is the reason for the season. And that's sacrilegious to say, but but just saying, Anyway, let's go to the answer. Answer, Rodrigo Santoro from the movie 300, currently on Westworld. Let's go to the next question. Love Actually starts and ends in an airport. The question is, are airports objectively good places? We'll go to the answer directly. You can figure that out. The answer is no, but I will also accept yes. I miss travel, I have to say. You know what I really miss? I miss those little waffles they give you on planes, the little, they have the little caramel in the middle. I was sitting next to somebody once on a plane and I got my little free waffle cookie. And the person next to me said, do you want to know how to eat that? And I was like, I'm 39 years old. I've been eating for many years. And they were like, no, well, what you do is you order a cup of coffee and then you put, or tea, and then you put the waffle on top of the hot tub and it like melts it a little bit. And I was like, well, I did not know that. And so I don't know how I managed to go 39 years without learning how to eat a little waffle cookie. So it was a great education for me. And now I pass it on to you. Let's go, pardon me, next question. Question 7. Everyone in this movie has deep personality defects that plague me to this day. Who is the only totally redeemable character? I'll give you a second to think about that. I miss, the thing about ordering hot beverages on planes though, is that I haven't flown. It's been probably years since I've flown and not worked because, I'm a writer. And so I always have my little laptop out and all my, little papers and whatnot, typing. And I get worried about putting a hot beverage next to my laptop because I don't fly first class, so it's a balancing act. And, it's been nice to have just sort of not have to worry about my desk space. I have my coffee here and my computer and my 16 lights. It's a real show. All right, the answer to question number 7, Emma Thompson is the only redeemable character as a character named Karen. I love Karens. I not like people named Karen. Some of my closest relatives are named Karen, and she's really bringing, that name has had some interesting associations this year, but she's really standing up for it. She's really redeemable. I would also accept that Colin Firth's employee is also somewhat redeemable. We could debate that, but we'll move on. Gremlins is our next holiday movie. You're like, where is It's a Wonderful Life? I don't have any questions about It's a Wonderful Life. Sorry. They were like, make some holiday movie questions. And I was like, I don't know how to interpret this, this assignment correctly. So I'm going straight chaos. Oh, somebody did. So Carol in the comments asked about the redeemable characters in Love Actually, about the little girl who sang the song. That is true. She is redeemable. She's pretty unimpeachable. I'm going to say best adult character, just because the kids, they're kids. What are the, I don't want to judge them. So we'll we'll go there. I'm just spreading chaos. Buy books, everyone. I'm chaotic. I'm sorry. Moving on. Question number 8. There are 3 rules that you have to follow to keep Mogwais, the names of the little furry creature, from becoming their monster selves, called gremlins. No bright light, no water, and this. And the answer is, like me, they should not be eating food after midnight. And yet, I do it all the time. That holiday pie is not going to eat itself. I'm just saying. Next question. So, this 1984 film, all the clues are inside this question for you. This 1984 film was released on the same day as this other supernatural horror comedy classic. So, thinking about this, 1984, supernatural horror comedy and a classic. Think about those, see if you can figure it out. Give you 2 more seconds. The answer is, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Yes, they were released on the same day. Can you believe that? What a day. I was too young to watch movies back then, but I imagine that I just felt the Hollywood excitement anyway. So that sounds very, very nice. What a great weekend. Question 10. Considering everything that happens in this movie, are exotic pets a good gift for untrained children? So this is something to think about as you think about the untrained children in your life and buying them gifts this year. Should you buy them a spider monkey, or should you buy them one of the many books published by Penguin Random House? Perhaps you want to buy them a copy of Here for It, or How to Save Your Soul in America, or Claire Saffit's book, Dessert Person. Perhaps some of the other books that are appropriate for children. I don't know, but just something to think about. And the answer to question 10 is no, do not buy your children any gremlins. Moving on. An American Tail. Oh, I love this movie. All right, American Tail. American Tail. Fievel Mouskowitz. I'm sorry to make you spell that. In his attempts to reunite with his family, is taken to see Honest John, a politician. But Honest John says he can't help Fievel because his family isn't registered to vote. This happens in the movie. This movie takes place in 1885, but yet over a century later, we are still encountering issues with voter disenfranchisement. Should universal voter registration become the national standard? These are all holidays movie trivia questions. And the answer is yes. Call your representatives. Next question. One of the many bad guys in An American Tail is Warren T. Rat, a con man and the leader of the Maulers, who are a gang of rats. Fievel discovers that Warren is not a rat like he claims, but another kind of animal. What is he? This was a shock to me as a child, and this reveal haunts me. The answer is, he is a cat. As they say in the Aristocats, everybody wants to be a cat. Question 13. Gussie Mouseheimer is the richest mouse in New York City and is voiced by this comedic actress, who also well known for her work in the movie Clue. I love Clue so much. I love Clue so much that one of the essays in my book is named after a famous Clue quote. And if I could, I would just write a whole book about Clue. I guess I can. So consider this my proposal. I expect an email on my desk by Monday. All right. The answer is Madeline Kahn, the great Madeline Kahn, voiced the richest mouse in New York City. Next question. Question 14. What two artists sang the Oscar-nominated hit song "Somewhere Out There" from the film? I miss those. Sorry, I'm like, oh, I should probably speed it up. I miss those days where we had like the big Hollywood movie film soundtrack and the song that dominated our summers. Anyway, that song was sung by Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram. James Ingram sang a lot of Disney songs. He really solidified his place. Him and Peabo Bryson. Question 15. Art Spiegelman accused the film of plagiarism because it depicts Jewish characters as mice in the same way that Spiegelman's graphic novel does. What is the name of the graphic novel, which was published in 2 volumes? This book was just all the rage in my school library. We could never have enough copies. We were always borrowing it. We were obsessed with it. It's an incredible book. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. And the answer is Mouse. Mouse, an incredible 2-volume graphic novel by Art Spiegelman. Next movie, The Preacher's Wife, one of my all-time favorite Christmas classics. If you haven't seen it, and I'm sure many of you haven't because it grossed $40 million at the box office, but there is still time. No day like today. So let's ask the questions. Okay, question 16. This movie is excellent. That's not a question. Give yourself a point. Yay, correct. Number 17. In this movie, why am I writing these paragraph questions like I work for the SATs? In this movie, Whitney Houston stars as the titular character, whose husband leads a struggling church. She is helped by an angel played by Denzel Washington. Whitney's mother in the film is suspicious of the angel because the mother thinks that the angel is trying to break up Whitney's marriage, thereby making her the preacher's ex-wife, which would also be a pretty good title, I think. What actress, whose memoir dubbed her the mother of Black Hollywood, played Whitney's mother in the film? It's a long walk for that. I could have just said who played the mom, but I wanted to let you know that I think about this movie a lot. The answer to that question is Jennifer Lewis, the great Jennifer Lewis, currently starring in the Christmas on the Square, the Dolly Parton Netflix movie. Here's a bonus question that relates. Well, I won't give it too much. What famous politician does the actress credit with giving her the title, the mother of Black Hollywood? That is President Barack Obama. Yes, it's true. She snuck into some event that he was at, and she tells this story in the book, and she also tells it on the podcast, It's Been a Minute with Sam Sanders. And so she snuck into some event, and he knew who she was, and he said, "You're the woman who plays everybody's mama." And so a moniker was born, and that is my average Barack Obama impression. Question 18. The film's Oscar-nominated soundtrack is the best-selling, thank you, Scott, is the best-selling gospel album of all time. However, the filming schedule was sometimes delayed because Whitney Houston refused to sing at a certain time of day. Was it A, morning, B, afternoon, or C, evening? And the answer is morning. She would not sing in the morning. And who amongst us? Who amongst us can? Next holiday movie, Call Me By Your Name? Sure. So this movie about a consequential summer in Italy ends at the holidays, and so I've decided to include it. The book on which it is based, however, does not end at the holidays, as it includes a flash forward epilogue. Who wrote the book on which this movie was based? The answer? Andre Aciman, the great Andre Aciman. Let's go to the next question. At every breakfast in this film, the characters are served one food item in a specially designed holder. What food item is it? If you think about it, Armie Hammer has a very specific way of opening this food item, this breakfast food item. And the answer is a soft-boiled egg. I have not yet achieved the soft-boiled egg as a kitchen technique. I hope to tune in tomorrow. Maybe somebody can help me. And the final question, It's a Wonderful Life. I lied. I do have It's a Wonderful Life questions, just 2 more. Or maybe 3, I can't remember. Another paragraph. When Clarence the Angel shows George Bailey what life in Bedford Falls would have been like, he reveals that the town is now called Pottersville, after the avaricious Mr. Potter, the villain of the film. This is similar to the plot of Back to the Future 2, where Marty McFly discovers that in a dystopian future, much like our own, Biff has become rich and taken over Hill Valley. So the question is unchecked capitalism bad? I'm just kidding. Can you imagine me getting on this broadcast and asking these questions? But also, the actual question is, what item does Biff take from the future that allows his past self to get so rich? And the answer is a sports almanac. He brings a sports almanac back. I wouldn't know what to take back from the future. It would stress me out. I write about this in my book. I don't want to go back to the past. There's too much responsibility. Future only, please. Okay, here's an actual question that's about It's a Wonderful Life. Clarence the Angel has a last name that is pretty rude, if you ask me. What is it? The answer is his last name, Oddbody. Really? What a name for an angel. Why can't his last name be Clarence Angelson, or something? Okay, last question. Zuzu Bailey, George's youngest daughter, ends the movie by saying that anytime a bell rings, an angel gets their wings. Logistically, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, consider the proliferation of holiday bell choirs alone. How many wingless angels are there? The question, however, is does this apply to doorbells? Like when you ring a doorbell, is an angel getting its wings? Does it apply to those Ring doorbells that you use to spy on your neighbors? And if you were an angel with no wings, wouldn't it be easier to just ask somebody to ring a bell? Like a vampire asking somebody to get into your house. You're like, hello, I am an angel. Could you please press the doorbell, please? Just seems easier. Also, all these angels just don't have wings. It just seems like a bad design, thing going on up there in heaven. No offense. So you can answer that one in the paragraph form, and that is my time. I hope you have yes, all answers. You will get full credit for all answers. Please mail them directly to me. I really appreciated you going on this haunted sleigh ride with me. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season. Stay safe and be well. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Eric, that was amazing. My sides hurt from laughing. So thank you for taking us on that ride, that sleigh ride. So check out my third pair of Blocks by Zenni glasses. And with these, I have, of course, matched my eyewear to my lipstick, because who doesn't love a little hot pink in their lives? Plus, the thing I love about these is they are super lightweight. So if you're looking for more book content, and who among us is not, here is a note from Random House on how you can get the insider scoop about upcoming books and how to join the perfect book community that fits all of your needs.
Hi everyone, my name is Aparna. I work on the newsletter program at Random House. Thank you for joining us at Holiday House. Sign up for our email list and get the latest and greatest right in your inbox. For book release info, news, giveaways, and more, sign up for the Random House list. Get sneak peeks on Jack Reacher novels. There are newsletters for Star Wars and Del Rey books for science fiction and fantasy fans. Modern library for fans of the classics. Sign up for One World to hear about groundbreaking authors. There's the Spiritual Thought newsletter for spiritual content. Or if you want to hear from editors of Random House, sign up for the Abbe newsletter. There's something for everyone. If you're in a book club, looking to start one, or prefer to read solo, join the Random House Book Club newsletter. Sign up now at randomhousebooks.com/email. Bye.
Excellent. So we are on to our third raffle of the evening. If you are still looking for that perfect holiday gift, I've got you covered. Look no further than Uncommon Goods. And with this gift card, you can treat yourself or others to a gift that's outside the norm. We're also including a copy of Choose Joy, a coloring book of gratitude and wonder by Ink and Willow. So I'll go into my handy dandy stocking, and our winner is Debbie Stevenson. Congrats, Debbie. So we are moving on to another one of my favorite Debbies. Debbie Macomber's Christmas stories are just as much a part of the holiday season as putting up the tree, lighting the fire, decking the halls, and gathering with friends and loved ones. Safely, of course. Her holiday novels have been called by Kirkus Reviews as comforting as hot chocolate on Christmas morning. That's amazing. We are so excited to have this virtual fireside chat with Debbie and author Sarah Gio just in time for the holidays. Debbie Macomber, the author of A Walk Along the Beach, Window on the Bay, By the Bay, Any Dream Will Do, If Not for You, and the Rose Harbor Inn series, is a leading voice in women's fiction. 13 of her novels have reached #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, and 5 of her beloved Christmas novels have been hit movies on the Hallmark Channel, including Mrs. Miracle and Mr. Miracle. I know Eric Thomas will be tuning into those this season. Hallmark Channel also produced the original series Debbie Macomber's Cedar Cove, based on Macomber's Cedar Cove books. She is also the author of the cookbook Debbie Macomber's Table. There are more than 200 million copies of her books in print worldwide. And we have with us tonight Sarah Gio, the #1 international New York Times and USA Today bestselling author of 10 novels. She is the host of the Mod About You podcast and also a longtime journalist who has contributed to Glamour, the New York Times, Redbook, Real Simple, Oh, the Oprah Magazine, Bon Appetit, Marie Claire, Self, and many other outlets, including NPR's Morning Edition. Gio's books have been published in more than 25 countries. She lives in Seattle with her husband and 3 young boys. Welcome, Debbie and Sarah.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hello.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Sarah.
Oh my
loved
goodness.
your book. I loved your book. All the Flowers in Paris. Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
What a great read.
Thank you so much. It is so amazing to chat with you and on Zoom, but I've been so excited to meet you. I met your daughter, of course, recently before COVID. And what a joy to be here, to be able to chat with you about your new book in this Christmas season. And what a gorgeous day it was in our area, right?
Oh, so beautiful. Oh, we're used to rain in November. We had sunshine.
And for everyone listening, Debbie and I both live in the Northwest, in the Seattle area, and we had a rare, gorgeous day today, and it was a blessing. So, Debbie, I just it's such a pleasure to say hello to you, and I wanted to ask you before we start chatting about. I have to know if you are someone who starts the Christmas season out early each year, or if you wait until a certain date, because I'm an early starter. My children will say that they're like, "Oh, Mom, it's October. Stop putting on the Christmas music." But especially now in the season of the pandemic, I feel like we're all looking for a little extra comfort. And I wonder if you're always someone who kind of starts it early, or if you are like, "Nope, it's December 1st."
No, I start early too. I do.
Good,
The house
good,
gets
okay.
decorated early. In fact, it's decorated for Christmas at Thanksgiving.
Oh, I love it. I knew you were going to say that. Yes, yes. Well, let's tell me, you have a new holiday book out, Jingle All the Way. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Oh, I'd love to. And I had such a good time writing this because of so much of it was based on my own experience. The story is about a woman who is an executive, and she is stressed to the max, just completely stressed out. And her boss says that she has to take a vacation. And so he asks her assistant, who she doesn't get along with, who happens to be his niece, to book a vacation for her, someplace wonderful in the tropics and where there's sun and sand and beaches. And so the assistant books it on the Amazon. So she arrives and she is stuck on the Amazon for 2 weeks. And actually, the book probably should have been titled Jungle All the Way. But
Oh, I love
the
that.
holidays. So there, while she's on this, she has a number of crazy adventures, some of which actually did happen when Wayne and I were on the Amazon. And she falls in love, but she has to go back and reassess her life. So she leaves the Amazon, leaves the love of her life, and goes back to the family farm in Indiana and reunites with her family and rediscovers who she really is and what she really wants.
I love it. I love it. And so the characters in your novel meet on a cruise. And tell me about, you've had some epic cruise experiences, I think, in the past. And tell me about some of the most memorable ones, or one of the most memorable ones that you've had in recent years.
Well, Wayne and I actually did do a cruise on the Amazon, but I think the one that I actually enjoyed the most was Antarctica.
Oh,
and
wow.
kayaking in Antarctica. So, I mean, out there in a kayak with whales, and we got stuck in an ice floe. It was quite the adventure.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So are you like, you can get in there with the are you an outdoorsy kind of person, or are you more of a cozy warm up by the fire sort of person? Did you feel like you can get in there in the salt water and feel comfortable, or is it, are you more of a glamping kind of girl?
I'm a big swimmer. I love to swim, but I'm not a big hiking in the woods kind of adventurous person, Yeah. And when I travel, I want a butler,
God bless you. I would love a butler, and I would love a driver too. Unfortunately, my youngest son is 13 years old and doesn't have his driver's license yet. So not quite yet, but soon, hopefully. So tell me about the Amazon. How much research did you have to do on this area of the world? You've been there. Did you draw upon your experiences there? Was there additional research you needed to do to kind of learn about the terrain and all of the subject matter there?
Well, I did do the research, but there's nothing better than having been there yourself and understanding it. And many of the things that are in the book actually did happen. We did get caught in this tremendous rainstorm, and we were going in from we were taken to a dock, and there were boats that were coming for us to take us onto this tributary off of the Amazon. And as the boats were coming, the men were ditching water out of them. And Wade says, I'm not getting in that boat. And I said, I didn't come all the way to the Amazon to stand on a wharf. I'm going in the boat. So he did. He came, and we both went off, and it stopped raining, and it was the most incredible thing we saw. There's a technical name for them, but they are lily pads that are the size of a kid's swimming pool. You know, the big round, and there's are so big and heavy, you can actually put a child, lay on a child on them.
Wow.
But I didn't get lost in the Amazon.
Well, two comments on that. There's nothing, first of all, I love that you trusted your husband and you were like, okay, I'm not doing this. And he was like, yes, we are. And you trusted him enough to go to do that. But also there's nothing like being in the actual place where you're setting your book, right?
Right.
To just enrich the details of it. And you know, we can't be everywhere, right, in all of the things we're writing, but it just really makes it that much richer to be there. And I love that you had that experience to really to make this book really sing. So that's amazing. So tell me, okay, a quick pause. I have to, my mother brought over a big plate of fruitcake today, and we're a huge fruitcake family. And I wanted to know if you actually love fruitcake or you hate fruitcake.
I love fruitcake.
You love fruitcake?
Love fruitcake. Yes. Grew up with fruitcake.
Okay, then we're soul sisters because there's so few people in the world these days who actually will eat it and appreciate it. And I had a nice snack of it today. It was so good. And I think it's all the English Irish roots that we have in our family. But oh my gosh, that's the best. Well, when we get together in real life after this pandemic is over, I'm going to serve you a nice slice of fruitcake. So
I'll take it too.
I have a great recipe.
I'll look forward to it.
So tell me a bit about your, you know, a lot of people ask me in my novel writing career where my inspiration comes from. And I have an answer for them usually because it's a particular kind of, it's kind of a random answer. But I'm curious to hear where you get your ideas. Do they come to you in the morning? Do they come to you from music? Do they come to you from chatting with friends? What is the source of your inspiration as such a prolific author?
Well, the gift God gave me is that of being a storyteller. So I've always had stories from the time that I can remember. So, and I've always wanted to tell stories. I used to make up stories. When I was just in grade school, in junior high and high school, I would go to sleep at night making up stories in my head. That was how I would fall asleep. It is just poured out of me from the time that I can remember.
I love that. I love that. I can resonate with you with that because I also go to sleep thinking of stories, and I dream stories. Do you dream stories? Do you have things you wake up in the morning and write down?
Usually it's in a book that I'm writing, something, a twist or something that'll come to me in my sleep, or when I wake up, it's there.
Yeah. Do you juggle? Do you ever juggle two stories at once? Do you work on, do you ever have what I have is the, you know, I'm working on one novel and I become obsessed with the next novel, and it sort of it's teasing me, it's pulling me away from finishing the editing process, which I'm in right now. I'm in editing right now. It's a difficult time, as you know.
Oh yes.
But do you tether between two projects, and how does that go for you?
I'm pretty single focused. Now,
Yeah.
I may work on more than one book, like right now I'm just finishing off page proofs where you read the final draft. But
Right.
I just have finished a book that I'll be mailing in next week, probably sometime. But my focus is on the book I'm writing. I may think about the next book, but it doesn't dominate my thoughts until I really start to dig into it.
You sound very disciplined, and I could learn a few things from you, I think. Do you do your best writing what time of the day? Are you a morning writer, an evening writer? Somewhere in the middle of the day? You're a morning?
Morning. Always been a morning person. And
Yeah.
my grandparents were farmers, and I got that early morning gene.
Yeah.
And when we were before the pandemic and I was able to go to the pool every day, I would get up at 3:45 in the morning.
Really?
Yes. Of course, I went to bed at 8:30 too.
Wow. And so you're a swimmer then. So would you, if we're not in COVID, you would wake up and you would swim and then you would write.
Well, not exactly. I would wake up early and I have this whole time that I just set aside, and I do my Bible reading, my journal writing, my devotions, and that takes about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And then I go to the pool, and I'm at the pool by 5 o'clock, between 5 and 5:15, and in the water at 5:30.
I love that. I'm obsessed with successful people's morning routines, because I feel like my morning routine is, I have 6 kids. I have 3 of my own and 3 stepchildren. And I feel that it's very chaotic at times. So it's very interesting I'm always trying to hone the details, but I love that you can squeeze in. Do you still get up at 3:30 in the morning, even today?
No, I actually sleep until 4. No, just kidding.
God bless you.
I'm usually up about 5.
Okay, amazing. So what, as we think about, the holiday season, and I would just love to know about your personal family traditions that you love, that you're looking forward to this season. I've started a few new ones with my children this year. And what are the things that you really love to do with your family as we're getting into December here?
Well, as you might have guessed, I'm a real Christmas person. So after our children married and had families of their own, I have 5 Christmas trees, so that when the grandkids would come, they knew which tree was theirs. And so everybody had their own Christmas tree at the house. And then Christmas Eve, for many years, we used to play bingo. And we would have little prizes, lottery tickets or whatever. And that was a lot of fun. And then the first weekend in December, the grandkids and I would get together and we would make gifts to give to friends and their school chums or whatever. We would make little mixes that they could take, and we'd decorate them up. And so that was a long time tradition. The kids are so much older now and in college, so we don't do that as much. So, but this is wonderful traditions. I don't cook on Christmas. When the kids were little, they would open their gifts and want to play, and then nobody was interested in eating dinner. And I thought, here I am slaving all day in the kitchen and nobody's eating anything. So I just have a buffet. I just said, that has been a tradition that I followed through from the time the kids were in grade school. So I just lay out a buffet and anybody eats when they want to eat.
Okay, I'm taking a tip from you on that, because you are so right. I have tried to do big Christmas feasts, and you're right. Everybody is so distracted and playing with their new toys. And that, I love that. We're going to do just simple on Christmas.
Simple. Yeah.
I love that. And I have to ask you what your favorite Christmas movie is, because I am from a family of we're Christmas movie addicts, and I will tell you my favorite Christmas movie. I have a tie between, I have a modern one, which is Love Actually, and my 2 favorite old ones are White Christmas and Holiday Inn. And I feel like Holiday Inn is the best movie of all time. I just love it. So I want to know maybe what are your favorite modern Christmas movies, and or 1 or 2, and the old fashioned ones.
Well, I loved Home Alone. I just thought it was such a great Christmas movie. The very first one, the original one, that is something that I would watch. And A Christmas Story, I know that's kind of a classic too. And it was called The Preacher's Wife when it was remade, but the original story, back with Loretta Young and Cary Grant, was The Bishop's Wife.
The Bishop's Wife. I know it. Yes.
And so that is probably one of my very, very favorite ones.
Okay, so my mom is here, my mother is here in the house, and she brought me fruitcake today, as we were talking about. And if she could hear, she doesn't have her computer hooked up, but if she could hear you talk about the Bishop's Wife, I'm going to go down and tell her. She's going to be so excited that you love the Bishop's Wife, because that is one of her favorites. And she'll just be like, oh, Debbie loves that too. So what's next for you? You have this lovely book release. You have so what does this next December look like for you? Are you working on what are you working on now? What is your next big project?
I just finished the Christmas book for next year.
Oh my
which is
God.
called Dear
Deb,
Santa.
you are I want to, when I grow up, I want to be you. I don't know how you do it. I'm so inspired. So tell me the name of the book. Does it have did you say the title of it?
Yeah, Dear Santa.
Dear Santa. Okay. And you just turned it in, and is that the one you're working on page proofs of?
No, the page proof ones is one that's coming out in July, and it's called It's Better This Way.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. And will you have time to rest and relax with your family this season with all of this that you're doing? Do you have time set out for a break?
Yes.
You do.
In fact, I'm baking cookies on Tuesday.
You are, oh, I love it. And you've got your tree up. Is it a large one?
We have two. We're actually staying at our weekend homes ever since the pandemic, and it's out on the water on Hood Canal. And so we have two trees up there, not the usual 6 or 5 or 6. But actually, I usually put one in my yarn room, so decorate it with balls of yarn.
I'm very inspired by your 6 trees. I have 6 children, and I don't know that I could do it, but that is just epic. The Queen of Christmas. What a joy to chat with you, and I just can't wait to be able to meet you in real life, Debbie, and to share stories and to ask you some questions in real life, and just to say hello. You are such an inspiration, and thank you so much. And
thank you, Sarah. I look forward to us too, and I look forward to having fruitcake with you, even
oh,
if it's in the middle of summer.
It'll be fruitcake all the way. It's on. So I wish you happy holidays, and what a joy to be able to chat with you.
Thank you. You too.
Well, that was incredible. Thank you so much to Sarah and Debbie. Man, Debbie Macomber does more before I wake up than I accomplish all week. I'm so inspired by Debbie that I'm going to get me a butler the next time I travel. So I want to point out that I'm wearing my 4th and final pair of Zenni eyewear tonight. And I just want to mention that while I am wearing the blue blocking lenses, you can get all these Zenni frames in prescription as well. So we have another special video to share from our sponsor, Zenni.
Tout est chaud, tout est joli. La tour Eiffel dans mon lit.
Tu t'es beau, tu es joli. La vie est si fantastique. C'est ma nuit.
Well, I am hoping that all of my modeling tonight will get me into a Zenni commercial with Rashida Jones. So we are kicking off our 4th raffle of the evening. It is a Jingle All the Way tea box from Sip Spy. And that is, of course, a curated tea box inspired by Debbie Macomber's Jingle All the Way. Tea is the ultimate holiday comfort drink to warm your spirits up. And this raffle is brought to us by Sip Spy with that Jingle All the Way tea box that I mentioned. And of course, Random House will also be throwing in a copy of Jingle All the Way by Debbie Macomber and a copy of Sarah Gio's book, All the Flowers in Paris. Okay. Got to go all the way to the bottom here. Our winner is Gina Chavez. Congratulations, Gina. So I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. We are so excited to see you again tomorrow night for part 2 of Penguin Random House Holiday House. You'll see me modeling lots more Zenni glasses tomorrow night. I'll see you then.